Hey everyone, thanks for joining me for Love for Humanity's free call. These calls are here to help you guys to think a little bit deeper, to open up to the world and what you have access to recognize what thoughts and feelings are doing, to help you to connect to others, to connect to yourself, and just to go deeper into consciousness and awareness, and also just sharing guidance from the universe and how we can all work together in peace and harmony, and also live together in peace and harmony, how we can support each other, how we can grow together and learn. I don't know, I always say it's much more fun to do things together than on your own. So if we were meant to be on our own, we would have incarnated on our own, and we haven't. We're all here together, nearly 8 billion people of us. So let's use this space and this time that we have together to learn and to grow together. That's exactly what Love for Humanity is all about. So I have a question from a friend of mine, and the reason why I want to talk about it today is because it's quite a good question, and I thought that this might help not only her but also anyone else who also has this question. So I posted in my Facebook, on my Facebook page on the weekend. Now this is through my own experience, so I just wanted to share my own experience around feeling good, feeling not good. And what I noticed is that when I felt bad, I would actually recognize that my thinking had either gone into the future or into the past. And as soon as I would say, well, bring my focus and my mindset into the current moment, cue the burp. When I would bring my focus into the current moment, I would then naturally feel good. And so I've posted, whenever you feel bad or wrong, ask yourself, am I going into the past or the future right now? Because the present is always good, and that's always been my experience. So my friend Michelle has said, but the present isn't good when the past has caused bad stuff to exist right now in the present. It's here right now in the present because of the past stuff. The bad stuff is here right now in the present, stuff I'm trying to deal with right in this very moment because of the past stuff. I can never get my head around this. So I love how she's asked that question, because it's really helped for me to tune into the answer to that, because my experience has been this, but let's look at this experience. And this is what Love for Humanity is all about, is that we all have different experiences. So sometimes it's really hard, you know yourselves, when you might learn something from someone, they might be saying the same things time and time and time again, and you just don't get it until another person might say something in a different way, and all of a sudden it just makes sense. So there's different timing involved, there's different ways of speaking or sharing. So when Michelle has sent me through this comment, I've just gone, okay, I would really love to see what the universe says around this. Let's look at the concept of the fact that the present isn't good because of the past. And I've done a lot of work in different groups that I run around past, present, future, and all the different ways that we can, I don't like using this word, but the ways that we can manipulate time, reality, and different things that we can do. And for me personally, when I have had the awareness of my thinking going into the past or the future, and realizing my thinking in the current moment, and it's the energy of the thinking in the current moment, which actually just makes me feel good. The reason why I feel good in that current moment, now I'm literally receiving this information for you guys. The reason why I feel good in this current moment is because my thinking is neither past or future. It's in this current moment as to what I can do about the past or the future. So this is where hopefully this will make sense, especially to Michelle, but to anyone else who has an issue with past and future stuff. It's always based around control. And a lot of us as humans, on a planet, we all have issues with control, and we're always trying to control things. Consciously or subconsciously, and that's okay, because that's kind of how we're driven. It is a survival mechanism, and it's one of the things that we constantly are trying to achieve by being here is a level of control, whether it's of ourselves or with others or what have you. But looking at this, and when you look at, it's really cool to look at things. I use a lot of quantum theory and quantum physics around the concepts of reality and time. And it's very cool when you are able to look at things. And I like to say, look at things from a distance. We can look at even this concept of, okay, so the past was this, and the future is this, and then the present is this. I'm talking about thinking. So whatever has happened in the past has happened. Whatever is going to happen in the future hasn't happened. And whatever is happening is the current moment. So some people say you can't change the past. I know through the work that I do that you can actually change how you think about the past or how you see the past. And that's just through, again, a lot of tuning into the universe, tuning into your soul intuition, and all those other elements to be able to get a different perspective of the past. The past has happened. You can't change what physically happened in the past, but you can change how you look at it. Now, that's very hard for some people to do because we are designed with only one perspective of how we see things. So it's quite fun to see, say, for example, the past, and then to be able, through the work that I do, to be able to get a different perspective of what happened. Again, if anyone ever wants to do that, you can message me and we can do the work, and I can show you. Literally, I can change any perception of past through the processes that I do. But what's the most important thing is that whenever we have a perception of the past, and we bring that perception of the past into the current moment, the perception of the past that has been created is, if you want to call it, stuck in the subconscious. The subconscious records your perception of the past in your mind, which the way the mind works is it brings the experiences from the past. Burping's kind of cool. It brings the experiences of the past into the current moment because it wants to know, what can I do to control this? The thing is that what it's actually doing is it's referring to a past experience of that to try and change the current moment. And this is what Michelle's talking about, is she's saying the past created this current moment, so I can do nothing about it. Well, that's the mind saying that because that's all it knows. The mind only knows that this is what happened in the past, and I have nothing else. It has nothing else to go on. It doesn't know what the present's going to do. It doesn't know what the future's going to do. So it naturally goes into the past to see what it can do, and it will then say, okay, so what did we do in the past to be able to deal with this situation? And this is where people say, I'm stuck in a pattern or whatever, is your mind just loops. It just loops into the past to see what you can do around this current situation because it's a similar situation. This is where the mind doesn't actually help us anymore, unfortunately, but fortunately for us, because we're now aware of it. When our mind brings up the past about a current situation, it's just doing what it normally does, which is it goes into the subconscious, it goes into the past, then go, okay, it's like going to the computer to get more information. The only information that you have in the computer is the information you've given it. So the brain sees the current situation and says, okay, so what information do we have about this? And it goes into the past to grab the past information and brings it into the current moment. And this is where you just keep looping, and the past just keeps happening and it keeps affecting the current moment, is because that's what the brain does. It goes into its little computer file to say, okay, this thing's happening now. What have we done in the past? What has happened in the past? And it just keeps going back. And that's just how the brain works. So if you think about the brain like a computer, and you think about a computer, the computer is just as good as the information you put into it. So the brain, the only information that the brain has is what's happened in the past. And so that's where it'll keep looping onto. It'll keep going into the past to retrieve information around what happened in the past to see how it can cope with the current situation and also how it can help with the future. The thing is that we're repeating the same things time and time again. And that's just what the current brain does. It's just how it works. We now have access to what I call, well, again, if you look at a computer, if you want to get more information from a different file, it can only use the files that you've given it. It can only use the software that you've given it. But the computer has a really great, gives us a great analogy around what we can do, which literally is, we can turn on the internet. If we want more information, we turn on the internet, right? The internet's on and we can put into Google, this is the situation, give me more information. What else can I do? Now, again, you're then going into the internet, the World Wide Web, whatever you want to call it, to get different information. Now, again, the World Wide Web is only as good as the information that's in there, but it's still different information to what's in your computer. So same with your head. If you have a current situation happening and you want a different current situation and a different future, you have to go into the internet. Now, how does your head have an internet? It does. You have access to what I call infinite wisdom of the universe. It's not strange, it's not weird. It's literally a thing that you get access to. We have the, if you want to call it, the wireless browser in our head called the pineal gland, and it has antennas, and it literally can pick up the universal, infinite universal wisdom, whatever is there in the World Wide Web of the universe, for you to get different perceptions, different perspectives, different answers to what is going on right now. So when you then practice this, and again, if anyone wants to ever do this, you just message me, I'll give you more information on it. To be able to do this, you need to actually quieten the subconscious, and to know what the subconscious is doing, and to understand what your brain's doing, and to understand how it all works. And hopefully I'm explaining this well enough. But I also hear we're asking the question, well, yes, that happened in the past and it's created this current moment, but what about the future? Now, every single moment that happens, like now, and like now, and like now, and like now, is a brand new moment. This is the future. We're actually going into the future in every single moment. The thing is that everything that we do in each current moment affects the next moment, and then that affects the next moment, and that affects the next moment. So you can again see that when you are going into the subconscious and going into the past situations, you're actually creating not only that situation in the current moment, because that's what the file that you're going into, but you're actually making it move also into the future, because in every current moment, you're creating the same future by going into the file in your head, because that's all it can do. And so this is where, when you're in a present moment, in a current moment, and all you can do is see the past has created this current moment, it's because it's just accessing and seeing the file in your head, and also the perception and the perspective of what's in the file in your head, and making that the only option. The reason for me why this current moment is all good, regardless of what happened in the past, is because by breaking everything up into the past is the past, the current moment is what's happening right now, and then the future is the result of what's happening right now. So you can see the three different options. Now, the past has happened. If I want to create a different future, I need to change how I've seen things in the past to how it's going to help me. How has that past experience, what has it given me? What can I take from it, no matter how bad or how hard it was? I'm sure deep down inside of me, I have gotten something from it. I have learnt something from it. I have grown from it. I have been able to receive some kind of wisdom from what's happened in the past. As soon as you do that, you're starting to change the perception and actually rewriting the file in your head, so that whenever it wants to change a current situation, it knows that there's other ways, there's other opportunities to be able to do it. If it only knows one reality in the past, then it's just going to keep going back into that. Now, the next step is, if we want to change the current moment and to feel good about the current moment to create a different future, is that we need to then not only change that perception of the past and know that we can get something from it, but then open up the universal internet in this current moment. And in this current moment, I play around with some of my groups and say, you can go down the rabbit hole of how big this current moment is. This current moment is infinite. This current moment has so many elements of present current moment that I'm just loving where this current moment's taking us, because it is quite expansive. It's so amazing where this current moment can take you when you're really in this current moment. And when you've given the past moments the responsibility of just learning and growth, and that they can just stay there, it opens up your mind. It's not going back into the past files. It's clearing your files, clearing your mind and leaving that in the past and opening your mind up to the universal internet. Now, in this current moment, I know that if something is happening now that's related to the past, I now know in this current moment, I'm opening up all my files to the World Wide Web of all the ways I can deal with this right now. And that's where this current moment is awesome. Because in this current moment, when I receive what I can do about it, then in this moment, I can do something about it. And whatever I receive, to be honest, from experience, works. It always works. That's all I can say. Whatever you receive from the universal wisdom, infinite wisdom, universal internet, if you receive something, and again, you will receive lots of different ideas, lots of different concepts. Where do you think the concept of ideas come from? It doesn't come from thinking, it comes from receiving. And when you receive infinite wisdom from the universe, what then happens is it gives you something else to do. Not the same thing, because you don't want to repeat the same thing. In this current moment, you can do something different. You can think differently. You can react differently. You can put something else in action to then create a different future. And so that's where the real goal is, being in the current moment and literally embracing what we can do right here. And that's where it's always good. I hope that makes sense. I know for myself, again, that's always why the present moment always does feel good. When I'm not feeling good, I know that I've gone into the past and the past thinking, or I've gone into the future, which takes me into helplessness, or I don't have control over that. But in the current moment, I know that I control both, because I do. And that's exactly how you do it. So I hope that has actually helped to explain how we do this and how we can really embrace how much power and control we have in this current moment, and how in this current moment it is good regardless of what's happening right now. We can always do something different right now, and I do encourage everyone to do something different right now to what you've always done in the past, because that's going to create a different future. Love you guys. Take care.